Power scaling is a unique hobby, to say the least. Last year for Gurren Lagann Month, I attempted to power scale Yoko, Viral, Kitan, and Simon. But I was relatively new to power scaling, and it shows because I look back and see a lot of mistakes. See, I usually analyze things like themes, characters, and storytelling, not power scaling. But a lot of people really liked the How Strong is Simon video, a lot more than I expected. So now I'm here to do my boy justice, because I really underscaled him. And honestly, so do a lot of other people. Not this time. I'm pulling from the anime, manga, light novel, and alternate media to give you a full idea of exactly what Simon is capable of. So run it back, we're power scaling our GOAT one more time.
Row, fight the power!
The most important basis for understanding Gurren Lagann and the levels of power is understanding its power system, spiral power. In simplest terms, spiral power is evolution. It exists in creatures with helix DNA, allowing them to grow stronger and overcome challenges with each generation. Spiral power connects spiral lifeforms to the greater multiverse, amplifying them to infinite levels. The series confirms that the humanoid shape is perfect for spiral power, reaching the maximum potential that the system allows for. There is a common misconception that spiral power is willpower, but will is only part of what drives spiral power. We've seen love, lust, joy, anger, and many other emotions feed into spiral power. It's fair to say that it derives from most emotions, save for variations of sadness and fear, such as despair and depression, which have been shown to deplete spiral power or cause it to get erratic. Spiral power is not limited in its scale, and it defies the laws of conservation of energy, among other universal constants, such as time, space, reality, and fate. This is actually where it can get a little complicated. Spiral power is in fact the underpinning of the universe and multiverse, as it connects all living things and the multiverse together. However, it is also what can break and even end all of existence. Just one being can achieve the power of the infinite multiverse, and this power would cause life to expand exponentially, far greater than the natural expansion of the multiverse. Life would turn into super spiral galaxies, and then black holes, devouring each other and all of existence. This is actually what's known as the spiral nemesis, but it gives us an idea of how spiral power scales. Considering everything, it's ideal to say that spiral power scales beyond Gurren Lagann's verse. It's been shown to break through higher dimensions, even breaking from fiction to reality in one of the alternate medias, the audio drama, where Simon Avant broke through his fictional 2D reality into Otoko Simon's higher reality. Debatably, that could make it outerversal, though then we get into complications of dimensional scaling, reality over fiction, what facilitates outerversal, and all the annoying BS of higher scaling that is confusing at best and frustrating at worst. The number of dimensions within Gurren Lagann's verse is also up for debate. Many say it's hard capped at 11, but other media suggest up to 20, and truthfully, there is no defined limit. But for now, let's put all of that aside for later and talk about Simon. Last time, I gave a breakdown of pretty much all of Simon's feats throughout the show, but most of what truly matters comes from episode 26, 27, the second movie, and the light novel. But let's give a brief breakdown of Simon and his equipment. As a spiral being, Simon obviously has access to spiral power. One of the ways he conduits that spiral power is through his core drill, though it isn't required. Normally it powers Lagann, but it can also channel spiral power in other ways, like when he pierces Lord Genome's chest in the Child arc. Lagann, Simon's mech that he found underground, is capable of combining and overriding any mecha it comes across, whether they be physical or not. It's through this that Gurren Lagann comes to be when Lagann combines with Gurren. And through spiral power, Gurren Lagann, and Simon's determination, he leads humanity to defeat the Spiral King and retake the surface, and later defeat the anti-spirals and free all the spiral life throughout the multiverse. But just how strong is he? It's first important to assess how much spiral power Simon has. At the end of episode 25, when the group creates Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, it's believed that his pool of spiral power is nearly infinite, considering the destruction of the Death Spiral Machine turned the sea of space back into spiral power, which was then absorbed. But in episode 26, we get to easily one of Simon's nuttiest feats that gives us a good idea of his reserves and a few other details. Team Dai Gurren is trapped in a multi-dimensional labyrinth, a higher spatial construct that creates universes as quickly as they are perceived, throwing its victims through the infinite cosmos forever. There are some who believe that these are just hallucinations, but the novelization and the manga go further to prove that these alternate universes are all real, and some are even references to alternate media. Quote, "Trapped in the infinite multiverse, last resort developed by the anti-spirals. It was a multiverse that traps people in infinite possibilities. I might be there, the future I wanted to be like this. People will stand up before the possibility of spreading anywhere. That is exactly the anti-spiral trap that takes away the will to live from a person. The crew of the super galaxy Gurren Lagann are trapped in the multiverse. Stolen from their consciousness, they are simply drifting through the ocean of infinite possibilities." Interestingly, there is a new multiverse for each character, as they're all perceiving entirely separate possibilities. By the end of the episode, Simon is able to break from this trap and assimilates with his multiverse. Quote, "Innumerable appearances of Simon appeared in the sky, and they were the past, present, and the future, every place, every time, and the innumerable selves that live in a world of infinite possibilities. There is no escaping wherever you go. In a closed, infinite universe, various lives are repeated. In that universe of possibilities, Simon twisted the innumerable selves he had drilled into one, twisting them together into a giant drill, and before he realized it, it was a huge drill. Simon wasn't there, but Gurren Lagann. Essentially, he has done the ultimate combining, melding together with all of his infinite selves and infinite possibilities into one, becoming his own multiverse of Simon. So Simon's reserves of spiral power, and thus stamina, are infinite. It also states that Tangentoppa Gurren Lagann has infinite spiral power flowing through its form as part of the super spiral universe contained within it. And TTGL draws from Simon's power, as he boosted Team Dai Gurren with his own power, giving each member a core drill, which ended up creating Tangentoppa Gurren Lagann. And the mecha is actually a materialization of all of Gurren Lagann's possibilities throughout the infinite multiverse. Quote, "The core drill shines as it spins on in response to Simon's shout. The same glow at the same time in every part of Gurren Lagann is emitted, and from the various paths of his body, a number of faces with Lagann-like expressions appeared. Yoko, Dayaka, Viral, Tetsukan, Attenborough, Leita, Gimme, and Dari each ride in a Lagann-like cockpit. Lord Genome also somehow has a body and is in the cockpit. Nia is in the same cockpit as Simon, as well as Buddha popped out from Simon's chest. The possibilities of Gurren Lagann's existence in the multiverse has been materialized and merged with Simon's Gurren Lagann. The ultimate evolution of a Gurren Lagann has been activated. Anything within TTGL's super spiral universe can be materialized through a thought, such as near-complete regeneration in Lord Genome's case. Tangentoppa Gurren Lagann is a construct made entirely of spiral power and doesn't actually have a measurable height. Some say it's galaxy-sized, but it's closer to universal size, considering the compressed super spiral universe and its scaling in the anti-spiral's closed universe, which contains other universes within it. Yes, these are universes, not galaxies. It's often mistranslated or misinterpreted. Even I made this mistake before. This comfortably puts TTGL's feats in at least the multiversal range, with one exception, blocking the infinity Big Bang storm, which creates the Big Bang, well, infinitely, generating entire universes with each passing moment. This is the power used to create Super Tangentoppa Gurren Lagann, after Lord Genome becomes one with the energy and it's then absorbed. Super TTGL is stronger in every way, being around 100 times larger than our observable universe and capable of creating the Big Crunch, which compressed infinite space into a single point. But why is this important? We're talking about Simon. Well, for one, both TTGL and Super TTGL are part of his arsenal. And two, it's important because both he and base Gurren Lagann scale above them. There's this idea that Simon needs Gurren Lagann, its other forms, or his friends to achieve many of the insane powers we see in the finale and the second movie. But the showrunners, the light novel, and the anime confirm that Simon is one with Gurren Lagann, meaning that any scaling to Gurren Lagann is also attributed to Simon. We know Simon and Gurren Lagann scale higher because Gurren Lagann blocks and destroys Super Grosenbaumer's drill, where Super Tangentoppa Gurren Lagann and all other forms were defeated by it. This then leads to Simon's fistfight with the anti-spirals. The anti-spirals are a higher dimensional being capable of creating an entire pocket universe which is infinite in size, and they control all aspects within that universe, like space, time, gravity, causality, fate, etc. They are described as the universe itself, by which meaning they're infinite pocket universe. As I stated before, the multi-dimensional labyrinth, a trap that confines the multiverse together, was also created by them. Both Gurren and Super Gurren were creations to fight Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann and Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann on equal playing field, though the novels and guidebooks state that they are actually far superior. It's greatly implied that both of these forms are substantially weaker than the anti-spirals, as they wish to inflict despair upon Team Dai Gurren, defeating them on equal footing rather than instantly annihilating them. Considering Gurren is able to grab and even destroy universal bodies, compress enough energy to create the Infinity Big Bang Storm with just its hands, and Super Gurren is even stronger, we get an idea of the anti-spiral's power in their main body, which is what Simon fights. It has to be, because defeating this body results in their destruction. So, Simon scales above the anti-spirals, and subsequently every other character. So let's go over some stats, powers, and feats. We can easily put Simon's speed in immeasurable. TTGL could react to the Infinity Big Bang Storm and run across universes. Super TTGL is even greater in size, being faster than TTGL. Just as fast as Infinite Destruction, considering the Big Crunch. And keeping up with the anti-spirals, who are faster than all of those forms, puts Simon in immeasurable. Strength is in a similar boat, being high complex multiversal at least. Gurren can destroy universes, Super Gurren and Super TTGL can destroy infinity, and Simon defeated the anti-spirals. His punches caused actual damage to a higher dimensional infinite being, and his final drill attack literally destroyed them. It's pretty easy to say that Simon's physical attacks are massively stronger than both Super TTGL and Super Gurren, who could collapse infinity with their drill clash. Durability is the same, as he took hits from the anti-spirals and tanked the explosion of their infinite universe. At this point, Lagann was greatly damaged, so it's impossible to argue that Lagann assisted with its shield, like it did to the other members of Team Dai Gurren. Considering how explosions work, it has to contain at least the same amount of energy as the universe itself, which is infinite, making it an infinite blast, stronger than the Infinity Big Bang Storm at the bare minimum. And he tanked it to the face, and was perfectly fine. And the kicker is that spiral power grows infinitely, meaning that none of these stats are his cap. He can continue to escalate beyond these feats and beyond these stats. As stated before, Simon has access to all of Spiral Power's capabilities, like manipulation of time, space, matter, reality, etc. He has control over his own fate, as he resisted the anti-spirals from tampering with his story and forcing him to lose in their universe. And even nuttier, he has probability manipulation. This was used offensively by Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann and Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, with missiles that fire at every point in space and time, rewriting the probability of them hitting to be 100%. Though this isn't even the full extent of what it is capable of. It can be used defensively to render an opponent's ability null, as Simon did with the anti-spiral's healing factor and even countering their own probability manipulation. It could change the probability of Simon's attacks working to 100%, and his opponent's attacks and abilities working to 0%. It gets downplayed a lot, but it's truly a broken power. He possesses a causality after merging with the infinite multiverse, so he's unrestricted by time and unaffected by attacks related to time. He can absorb energy at a far greater rate than Lord Genome and the anti-spirals. Lord Genome could merge and absorb the Infinity Big Bang Storm on his own, transforming an attack based on de-evolution that could break someone down to the quantum level into pure spiral power, the exact opposite of what it was before, which Simon and Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann then absorb. He can manipulate any kind of energy, as he did so with anti-spiral power, which is, again, de-evolution, the opposite of spiral power. It's implied that he can resurrect the dead, but he doesn't do so as to not invoke the spiral nemesis. Spiral power can already cause one to self-resurrect, as Kamina briefly returns from the dead in episode 8 after his vitals drop to literally nothing, and later returns in the multi-dimensional labyrinth to help out Simon and the others. Regeneration is a pretty easy feat. Gurren Lagann regenerates quite often, and Lord Genome comes back from being just a head. And last, but certainly not least, is the often misinterpreted true power of spiral power, evolution. Many simply refer to it as infinite potential, allowing Simon to get stronger infinitely. But it's far greater than that. It's literally evolution, giving Simon new abilities and resistances to overcome whatever challenge is ahead. This has consistently happened in real time over the course of the show. Just Simon's existence can collapse the infinite multiverse. With reality over fiction scaling from the audio drama, and considering that Simon is composite, so feats of all Simons are compiled, we could put Simon into Outerversal, as well as the argument that spiral power simply transcends all concepts of reality, including dimensions, as it's used to very easily bridge dimensions very frequently. He has so much spiral power that even the anti-spirals, with their untethered ability to affect reality and fate, could not throw him into despair, could not change his emotions, his fate, deplete his infinite reserves, or cause him to falter for even a moment. He can resist so much hacks, and has so much hacks, that it's kind of unfair. But that's the point. Because of this, it's kind of hard to label Simon, considering everything I've talked about, and with how Gurren Lagann's verse works. At the very least, he's within the high complex multiversal to outerversal range, with debate on exactly where. I would personally put him into outerversal, considering that spiral power transcends all walks of life, and even if Gurren Lagann's verse itself doesn't contain infinite dimensions, which it's never stated directly that it does or doesn't, it still meets the criteria in either that regard or reality over fiction. I'm personally not a dedicated power scaler. It took a lot of time to get this figure together, so I imagine many will disagree with this. But I am officially putting Simon into Outerversal, with essentially infinite in all stats. But the truth is, as cool as all these powers and feats and hacks and scaling are, that's not why we love Simon or the show. The reason why we connect to him is because he's just a really good, relatable character. And that's why it's fun to power scale him and talk about all the amazing things he can do. It's uplifting, inspiring. Through belief and will, he can accomplish anything. And that gives us the hope that just maybe we can too.